What's going on, guys? Blazing here. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and thank you for joining me on another Raid Shadow Legends video. Alright guys, so we have another one of these turn attack tournament dungeons. This one is for Dragon, and we are doing Night Revenant. Now, so far, they haven't really been that bad. I've actually been enjoying, coming up with the comps and stuff like that, getting a lot of feedback from the community. And so, for this one, we're going to do two teams. We're going to do one that I want to say is kind of budget and free-to-play friendly. We're going to do another one that is a little more pay-to-win for the people that have it, right? But we are going to be working with stage 20 and 25. The hard mode one, unless you have some serious pay-to-win champions, or have had some serious insane luck, it's not going to work out. Although I will be putting out another video, hopefully tonight or tomorrow, for you guys with that team. So let's get into what we currently have and showcase you guys some teams. All right, so first up, we are going to start off with the, dare I say, budget free-to-play friendly team. And the only thing that's really not too free-to-play about this team is Tomb Lord. Now, he is accessible through the life token shop, Plarium. Give us some way of getting some of those champions, right? Give us some life tokens in some of these events. Take away the crappy Plarium play points and give us some of these tokens. Make it a little more accessible for us, right? Because honestly, it's been forgotten. And it's such a great feature, right? But we do have Thea, the Tomb Angel, who is a login champion. We have Thea, Miscreated Monster, who's an OG. And we have Renegade along with Tomb Lord. Before we get into the run, let me show you guys exactly the AI setup for it. Now, Thea, the Tomb Angel, is basically going to open up with her A2, and we're going to turn everything else off, right? Round 2, we're going to do the same exact thing. If she uses it more than once, it's fine. It's not going to worry. Now on round 3, you're going to want to make sure you open up with the A3 because she's going to take an extra turn to reduce the cooldown of the A2, right? Thea, what are we doing with her? Well, for her, you could take a pick. You could either use the A1 first or the A2. Round 1, it doesn't matter. Round 2, you could do the same thing. She has an AoE skill on both of those. We just need her to put out the hex, right? And then round 3, same thing. We just turned off the decreased defense so she doesn't apply it and take up the debuff bar. Miscreated Monster, we really didn't do anything, but you could prioritize the A2 if you really wanted to. It's really up to you. For the ads, it's probably going to work out a little bit better, but they don't stay up that long. As for Renegade, round 1, we open up with the A3, right? Round 2, we prioritize that. Now, we do have everything else turned off on everybody else, so that's on the off chance that we, have an ad up, then we will be able to kind of go right into the next round opening up our firepower, right? So we'll be able to go up with our big hitters right away, and then on the boss, we turn off the A2 because, again, we don't want to put any debuffs up, and then we leave the A1 prioritized. Now, as for Tomb Lord, round 1, we open up with the A3, right? Same thing for round 2. Now, on round 3, we turn off the A2 and just worry about the poisons. So, now that we've got that out of the way, let me show you guys the run, right? Basically, like I said, as long as there's a decreased defense out, Thea is going to put out, or has a 50% chance of putting out a hex, which is going to make Thea, the Tomb Angel, just smack the waves like that. I mean, that's almost as good as Seer, right? So, pretty solid right there. Renegade, we're just hoping to try to get as many of those A3 as possible. Now, again, this isn't going to be a fast run. Could it be, if we brought in a Theodor here, we could probably make the run a little bit faster. But, then we're going super pay to win here, right? Unless you've had some really good luck. But for, a budget free-to-play team, this is pretty good, right? Will be roughly around the 55 turns, which should yield you about 30 to 35 points. And depending on, what the points are going to be for the event, it may, be a little bit of energy crunch right there. But you can see Thea coming in like a champ here, increasing the duration of all those poisons. If we just had somebody who could explode all those poisons, man, that dragon would be dead. Look at that. Okay, so we went a little bit higher, 66 turns, a minute 26. Still pretty solid, right? So let's get into the little more pay-to-win team on stage 25. All right, so we have a little more of a pay-to-win team here, right? We've got the double Cavals, we've got double Renegades, and Theodor. Now, this is going to be stage 25. I'll go ahead and show you real quick what the AI setup is. For Cavals, we don't really have anything for both of them. They do what they want to do. It's fine. Theodor, we're prioritizing the A2 over the A3 every single round. Now, for here, we've got two Renegades. First Renegade, who is our fast Renegade, is going to open up with the A3, but hold the, open up with the A2, but hold the A3. Sorry, guys. Then after that, she's free to use her A3 on round 2, and then we're going to prioritize A3 on round 3. Now, the slow Renegade is going to open up with the A3 on round 1, and then never use it again. Same thing for round 2. She's never going to use it again. You let her use the A2. And then round 3, we're going to prioritize the A3, right? So let's go ahead and get into the run. Now, the run should be anywhere between 40 to 45 turns, depending on RNG. Cavals isn't really going to do much, right? They're just going to bring the poisons. I really wish that the A3 would actually, like, nuke, right? But right now, he's just used for his passive. But Theodor just kind of coming in and taking everything like a champ. Now, yes, we do have a lot of our champions and some reflex gear for the Renegades. I'm actually finding that it's better to have them in reflex than anything else currently. I've been really, I just kind of keep them slow at around the 200 mark, and it's been working well. Now, Cavals, again, we just have him deadbeat slow. We don't really care about anything. So 46 turns, 53 seconds so far. We're at 50%. Unfortunately, we did get the heal reduction put out, but it is what it is. The Renegades did die, so that's perfectly fine. Cavals didn't die, unfortunately, but 56 turns, 1 minute and 6, not bad, pretty good, right? So let me show you guys some of the gear on these champions. All right, so Theodor, what are we looking for him, right? We have him built with a regen and immortal set. Now, this is just a basic build that we use to solo any stage 20 or 25 content. It really works out quite well for us. So if you don't have regen, you could put him in a bolster set. Refresh accessories are not needed, but they do help out quite a bit, right? As for stats, what are we looking for? Well, we want to try to hit as close as possible to 80k HP, right? I'm at 79.5 right now. I just got to finish ascending and gearing up a little more on him before he's fully finished. As for defense, we're looking to get as close to 3k as possible, right? We're currently at 2.9. Speed-wise, we're at 257. You're going to need a minimum of 250 unless you go down the offense tree, which I do not suggest. Now, resistance-wise, 328 is what we currently have. You want to try to get it as close to 350 as possible. Accuracy is at 298, which works well for stage 25. Anything above that, it is not, right? As for skills, we do have them fully booked, and we did take Brimstone, right? Now, masteries-wise, we basically took, solo farmer for dungeons masteries. We took Oppressor, we took Sniper, we took Spirit Haste, we took Cycle of Magic, we took Lore of Steel. We also did take Arcane Celerity, we did take Retribution, we did take Delay of Death, and we did take Resurgent. All right, so next up are the Cavals. Now, Cavals, I really have built for one thing and one thing only. It is just for the poisons. So, I don't really care what set they're in, and I don't really care about the stats, to be quite honest. Now, there is one stat I do care about, but you guys can see both of them here are just in broken random sets. I didn't really care about much. Now, the only thing I did care about is making sure I have enough accuracy, because I do use them in hard mode dungeons as well. 494 accuracy is what I went. I need a minimum of 450. Other than that, I don't care about anything else. I don't even want them surviving, because the moment we get to the boss, the longer they're up, the more animation they bring. So I don't care. If they die, they die. You guys can see here, 31k HP, 2.1k defense. So if they die, I'm happy. As for book-wise, we don't book them. We don't need to. Until Plarium buffs him and gives him something good, not really going to happen. Blessings-wise, again, don't have any. I don't even buy him for him because it doesn't need him. They've shown up in the shop a couple of times, and I don't really care. Masteries-wise, we do have some, but you don't need them. But if you did, you take War Master, you take Methodical, you take Bring It Down. Now, you could take Master Hexer, right? And you could take Sniper along with Evil Eye. Okay, so next up to finish up the pay-to-win team are going to be the Renegades. Now, we have two of them. The one is absolutely naked. No gear, no nothing on her. Perfectly fine. That's exactly what we want because we want her to only basically take 2 turns, right? So this one works out well for us. The only one we really need to go through is this one, which I do currently have built in a reflex set. I really enjoy it in the reflex set. It helps the runs go a lot faster. We do have 2 refresh accessories on her. Stats wise, what are we looking for? Honestly, give her enough HP that she could take a hit up until the boss, and then at the boss, you don't really care. 205 speed is what we're currently working with. You want her going slower than everybody else, right? But twice the speed of the normal Renegade. So, or the baseline Renegade. Booking wise, we do have them booked. They're both actually fully booked, right? So you do want to have that. Now, as for masteries, you don't really need them, but if you did go down and take masteries, you could take War Master, Methodical, you could take Bring It Down, you could take Sniper, Master Hexer, Evil Eye, and Lord of Steel. All right, so next up, we have our girl, Thea, the Tomb Angel. I mean, she was one of the worst legendaries, and when she came out, people were like, why? She could smack, but she needed so much setup. But now that we have Hex with just quite a bit of few champions, she is actually coming in clutch. So we do have her built in a Savage and Cruel set. Now, remember, it's going to be stats over set. So if you can get her in better stats, her A3 doesn't need to have the Savage and Cruel, but it does help. As for accessories, you don't really care what she has. She ideally only needs to survive the first couple of bosses, right? If she survives anything else more than that, it's a plus. As for stats, what are we looking for? Well, we have her built pretty, to nuke, right? So 5.7k attack. We don't care about the defense or the HP. 228 speed, 100% crit rate. My crit damage is quite low. This is why I'm saying if you can build her with more crit damage, you'll be fine. As for accuracy and resistance, we don't really care. It's not going to help us. As for for books wise, we do have her fully booked. Ideally, all you really need is the A2 booked, right? Bring it down to a 4-turn cooldown so you can get this extra 300% as quickly as possible. When you're not working with a Kymar, it kind of helps, right? If you book the A3 too, it's not a bad idea, right? We did use it once in the run, but ideally you only need the A2. We did take Soul Reap for her, right? Masteries wise, we did go down offense and defense, right? And so we took Helm Smasher, we took Kill Streak, we took Bring It Down, and we took Opportunist. We did take Deterrence, we did take Retribution, along with Delay of Death. All right, next up is our girl, Thalesia. And now Thalesia, I have her built basically, to do a little bit of damage, and then just to make sure that she's always getting Hex up, no matter what, right? Paired with Thea, you need that Hex. So we do have her in a Cursed and a Perception set. We don't really need refresh accessories because her A2 and her A3 are both AoE, so they're not going to help us, right? We just care about getting that Hex out. Now, as for stats, we basically have her going before Thea, the Tomb Angels. So if Thea's going at 230 speed or 220 speed, just make sure she's a couple of speed ahead, right? Other than that, we have her built to do damage, so 4.7k attack, 234 speed. We really should have her at 100% crit rate, but I don't have a lot of curse gear because, curse was the worst. 173 crit damage. We don't care about resistance, and we have 274 accuracy, which works well for stage 25. As for books, we do have her fully booked. Do you really need books? No. The passive doesn't really need books to land, right? So it is what it is. Cruelty is going to be the best for her because she has AoEs. As for masteries, we don't have any. You don't need them. All right, next up is my boy, Miscreated Monster. I mean, this guy looks so cool. I remember watching Ash way back in the day who had this guy as his opening. And man, like this guy used to be one of the best tanks for Arena with that Fear passive. Oh, was awesome. Anyways, we got him built in a Perception and Defiance set. It is not really needed, right? We just have him built quite tanky to provide us a good shield. So, refresh accessories, don't really need them. They're not going to help. You could put some counterattack accessories if you really want to try to get the A1 out, but it's not really going to matter. As for stats, what are we looking for? Well, we got ours built with 70k, 71k HP, honestly, 2.5k defense, 250 speed. So we want him going before our Thea, the Tomb Angel, but after our decreased defense, so we can try to beef up that shield, right? We got him at 100% crit rate. We don't want crit damage. If you use the A3 and you take any damage with that, because of the ally protection, he is going to get smacked. And then we want 351 accuracy. You don't really need it that high, but if you have it, that's fine. 250 for normal dungeons works well. As for books, we do have him fully booked. It does help, guys. Trust me. Blessings wise, we did take cruelty, right? Because we use them in other areas of the game, so it does help. I know stacking the 2 cruelties doesn't, make a lot of sense, but trust me, over the long term, it does make sense. As for blessings, mastery, sorry. We did go down and we took Helm Smasher, we took Kill Streak, we took Methodical, and we did take Bring It Down. We also take Cycle of Violence. Now, you could take War Master. This build also works well if you wanted to use them in Arena. As for the support, you take Lasting Gifts, we took a Merciful Aid, and we took Healing Savior. All right, so last but not least is our Tomb Lord. And Tomb Lord is basically in my build for my hard mode Fire Knight team, right? So we have him built in a speed and perception set. If you had refresh accessories on him, that's fine, but they're not needed. Again, you're going to get to the point where Thalesia is going to keep those poisons up all the time, where it's not going to make much sense to basically put up the A2 much longer, right? So as for stats, what are we looking for? Well, we want to try to get as much damage in as possible. Now, if you're using him as a solo farmer, that's a different story, but we have him at 49k HP, so he can take a little bit of a hit. 3.3k, almost 3.4k attack, 2.7k defense, 280 speed. I know it's a lot, right? Quite fast, but if anything happens, he can take down the waves by himself, no problem, right? He keeps those waves controlled pretty well. 115 crit rate, ideally you only need 100. 213 crit damage. If you can put a little bit more, that's fine. But if you put him in any other sets, like a region set, you don't even need the crit damage. As for resistance, we have it at 192. Again, he's not soloing, so we don't need it. And 366 accuracy, enough to land our debuffs in hard mode dungeons. As for booking situation, we do have him fully booked. Ideally, all you really need is the A3 and the A2. Blessings-wise, we did take Brimstone. As for masteries, Giant Slayer is what you're going to want to take. Make sure you have Kill Streak, Methodical, and Bring It Down. We did take Master Hexer, we did take Evil Eye, we did take Lord of Steel, and Swarm Smiter. Do not take Arcane Celerity for him if you're using him in other areas of the game, such as your Fire Knight team, because he is going to need to be speed tuned. So, hopefully this video helped. I know it was a longer one than my usual one, but I wanted to showcase 2 different teams for you guys. Some that's a little more pay to win and something that's a little more accessible for everybody else. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the teams. And as always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.